Hey guys, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for watching What is Good. I am Jade if you're new here, and welcome to my live. This is a continuation of my coverage, my little coverage on the passing of Queen Elizabeth II and the ascension of King Charles III. So recently, today actually, King Charles made his very first gave his very first speech since ascending to the throne of the King of England, right? So, since ascending to the throne, the king gave a speech, and in the speech, we're going to talk about the part where he spoke about Harry and Meghan. So I'm not going to read everything. I'm just going to read some of it. At some point, he talked about, he said, today I am proud to create him as in Prince William. Um, I'm proud to create him Prince of Wales. So Prince William is now, instead of, they used to be Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, right? So now they are Prince and Princess of Wales. So in continuing speaking about Harry and Meghan, this is what King Charles had to say. He says, I want to also express my love for Harry and Meghan as they continue to build their lives overseas. So, and then he went on to say, in a little over a week time, we will come together as a nation, as a commonwealth, and indeed a global community to lay my beloved mother to rest. So at first, when I first saw the speech, when I first read it, at first I was like, I mean, this is okay, because let's be honest, at least in my opinion, this is the one thing that I have wanted somebody, a senior royal, to come out and say. This is something that Queen Elizabeth could not bring herself to say. I don't know if she was afraid of the firm, because as it is with everything, the Queen was nothing but a figurehead. That is just the truth. Don't get offended. This is the truth. The firm are actually the one controlling what goes on in the palace. They're actually the one controlling everything. So, but this is what I have always wished that the Queen, the late Queen, would have said. If she had just openly voiced her support, and if she had done it in a timely fashion, I don't think the level of hate, the level of vitriol, the level of attack against Meghan and Harry, particularly Meghan, would have continued up until now, or at least it wouldn't have escalated to the point where now, if Meghan as much as breathe, like I was saying before, if this lady as much as breathe, there will be somebody somewhere who has something to say, something negative to say about Meghan simply breathing, Meghan simply existing in this world. If she as much as breathe, there will be somebody who has something to say about it. So I say all of that to say that this could not have come sooner. And so when I read the speech, and I was thankful, I was glad, and I was happy that he said something. And then I sat back and I started thinking, will this even matter? Will this even cause the press, the hateful, racist British press, will this even cause them to like take a step back from attacking Meghan? Or is this just going to light up more fire? Because now, even as we speak, imagine your queen, your beloved queen, the queen that you love so much more than life itself, the queen whose revenge, whose so-called ill treatment by Meghan and Harry has sent you on this revenge mission to continuously attack them. The queen, She passed away. These hateful media could not lay off, not even for one day. They could not stop talking about Meghan for one day. I mean, if you're thinking about somebody whose um whose career as the Queen of England legacy span over 70 decades or 50 decades or whatever, if you cannot dedicate one full day to talking about all the things that you, in your own words, all the things that you think she represents, all the things that you think she did, her impact, if you could not for one day take a break from talking about Meghan, then you never loved your queen. You people are just liars. You people are liars. You people are hateful. You people are disgusting. Because if you love your queen as much as you claim you do, you would at least dedicate one full day. Make everything from the moment that she passed away, from the moment it was announced that she had passed away. You would have taken a break from your usual regular, because it has become a regular thing now, right? You would have taken a break from your regular anti Meghan post and just dedicate 1 week. If you people dedicated 1 week to talking about your queen, that would not be too much. If you people went one whole week without talking about Meghan, that will not be too big a sacrifice. Because I know it is a sacrifice. Talking about Meghan brings more traffic, brings more click to your website more than anything else, more than even the death of your queen. So you have to keep those numbers up. You have to keep those clicks up. So, like, I get it. I get it. But dedicating one whole week to talk about your queen and her legacy and everything that she stands for, everything that she stood for, would not be too much, too big a sacrifice for you, especially the way you people are actively going on and on and on about how much you love your queen. Dedicating one whole week to simply talking about her legacy would not be too much for you. But you people couldn't even do that. Every single thing that you have done since the passing of your queen, it has been about Meghan. There are so many different narratives. It's like you guys have just been throwing so many different darts, waiting for the one that is going to stick. It is pathetic. It is sad. I feel secondhand embarrassed. I feel secondhand embarrassment for the British people because of the way that they have treated their so-called beloved queen. You love your queen so much, you could not even dedicate 1 week without talking about Meghan. You could not sacrifice all that clicks, all that views, all that money, everything. You could not sacrifice it for your queen that you love so much. You have made everything about Meghan, from talking about how, oh, they had to change plans. Meghan wanted to come to the bedside of the queen, but she was refused. She was not allowed to come because the family is still frosty. They still hate Meghan. So Meghan and Harry had to change plans. The initial plan was that, oh, Meghan and Harry were going to join the rest of the family, the rest of the royal family, as they mourn the queen. But because of the hate, because of the dislike for Meghan, they disinvited Meghan from coming to see the family. And so Harry had to go alone. And so, in an attempt to make it seem as though it wasn't really about Meghan, or they did not have any ill will about Meghan, so they claim that Kate, Princess of Wales or whatever, she left and she wanted to go and be with her children. And so, all this nonsense. And then on one hand, They will tell you in a different report, same publication, they will tell you about how oh, Harry is not ready to make peace with Williams. And then on another one, they'll tell you, oh, Williams does not want to have anything to do with his brother Harry, which is really sad because they used to be able to rely on each other. But now, on one hand, they want to make it seem as though Harry is the softie, right? Harry is the one who is dying to have a reconciliation with his brother. And then on the other hand, they want to, because when once they push that and they see that it's not well received by the public, because people will be like, why is William so hateful? Why is William so vicious? Why is William so mean? At least his brother is trying to make amends. His brother is trying to make peace. His brother is trying to, like, you know, give an olive branch. But why is William so adamant about it? Why doesn't William want? So whenever they make such a post and then they realize that it's not sitting well, it makes William look like a really bad, vindictive brother. And then they will change the narrative, and then they will talk about how, oh, Harry said he wanted an apology from William. Without an apology, there is no reconciliation. Like, they just play with their readers, they lie. I have seen posts of people saying, Meghan said, this really cracked me up, right? They said, Meghan said, it is only that they are only a plane crash away from the throne. That she and Harry are only a plane crash away from the throne. And I'm like, Meghan will say something like that, and then there was not an immediate investigation, because that's like death threats, guys. That is like somebody that is threatening, like, you're literally threatening the second in line and his entire family, you know, the second, the third, the fourth in line. Like, you're literally threatening them. So how in God's name did Meghan ever get away with saying something like that? This is what I'm saying. The people who are buying all these lies, the readers of this hateful media, propaganda media, they don't think, they have no brain cells. They don't even think about the things that they run with. They don't even think about the consequence. Like, somebody's telling you that somebody's telling you that Meghan, whose husband is like fifth in line, is saying that they are only one plane crash away from the throne. And you people are just going to keep your mouth shut and just let that slide and not launch an investigation? My goodness. Really? And then they just tell you people these things, and you guys just take it as the gospel. You guys just take it and you guys just run with it. What is wrong with you people? What is really, really wrong with you people? Honestly. Because this is so mind-boggling to me. Like, how can people be so dense? Like, you guys are so filled with hate that at this point you will take anything negative about Meghan because it feels and it feeds your conscious bias. All this while, because the real reason why you guys despise her so much, you couldn't come out and say it, right? Because you guys are cowards, right? So you couldn't come out and say it. And so when your favorite hate media started doing all these hate pieces about Meghan, pushing all this false narrative, then you felt happy because then you actually have a reason. Like, you don't even ask questions. You don't even care if it is true. At least you can reference back to whatever media that fed you those lies and said, I heard it from X, Y, and Z. That way you don't have to take any accountability for the true reason why you really, really hate this person. The media gave you a reason. Like, you already had the hate, you already had the bias, you already had the racism against her just because of who she is. But then you have to find a reason that is justifiable, a reason that will justify why you hate her. And so your media gave you a reason why. And now you're just running with it, because now you can just point out any of the lies that you have been told, any of the false information that you have been fed about Meghan, and just latch on to that as your reason. The media gave you a reason. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why you keep going back to these places where they lie to you, they pump your head with all kinds of lies. You keep going back there, you don't ask questions, even the ones that are so outlandish, even the stories that are so far-fetched. You are more than happy to accept it, because at the end of the day, you need a justification for your hate. You need a justification. And as a result, you cannot afford to verify or to even analyze whatever information you're being fed. Because the minute you start analyzing, then you're going to start poking holes at the information that they are feeding you. And once you start doing that, then your hatred for her is no longer justified, and then you're back to not having a reason for hating her. So yeah, it's really laughable and it's sad at the same time, you know. And now they're saying all these things. Oh, Harry and Meghan are not welcome. They were uninvited. They were not allowed. It's too bad that a lot of you who have continued to push this hate, your only experience with the outside world is social media. If you would have the opportunity to travel out of the country, then you will begin to understand how people really think of the British people now. Like, what have you not done? You guys have done so many things to paint Meghan a certain way. What have you guys not done? To the point where you guys even went to Australia because you were trying to tarnish her image, you know, all over the world. You guys even went to Australia. You guys even sponsored Meghan's crazy half brother to go to to participate in Australia's Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother. Since when? That guy has never done anything. That guy is not even an influencer. Up until when Meghan married into that family, nobody even knew who that man is. Meghan's father has been a recluse. He's been hiding somewhere in Mexico up until when you guys went and found him out. And then you created a monster. You created a monster. So all of a sudden, Meghan's half brother is now participating in Big Brother Australia, in Celebrity Big Brother. Don't you have to be a celebrity to be in Celebrity Big Brother? But no, because it's Meghan, we have to make sure we have to sponsor him so that he can go to Australia and New Zealand and those other parts down under, and so that he can wash and lie and make up stories about Meghan just to fuel, just to sow hatred in the hearts of the people living down under in the outback. Because they have to, it's a strategy. This was like a planned attack. This was an orchestrated attack against Meghan. So they had to go to different continents, go to different parts of the world, have somebody there who is going to push a negative narrative about Meghan, so that more people can hate Meghan. But the thing is that people actually know what you guys are doing, because there is no way in hell Meghan's brother, who by the way is not a celebrity of any kind, this guy has never done anything on TV. Never. He's never done anything on television, but all of a sudden, he's now participating in Big Brother Australia. Make that make sense to me, because this was an orchestrated plan. They sponsored him to go there, because that's another part where Meghan went to, and Meghan was loved. It was actually after Meghan's visit to Australia that the royal family decided to hate Meghan, because she was so well loved, she was so well received, and they loved her so much because she was different, you know, and the world was gravitating towards her. And the royal family just couldn't have that. They couldn't have another Diana. They couldn't have another person who is going to be loved more than the royal family, more than the people born into royal family, like the king, like, the ones that are actually waiting in line. So they're, they felt threatened that somebody they felt threatened that anybody else who is not in line to be king or queen would have more popularity. That did not sit well with them. For somebody who is like a commoner, somebody that is not a like who's not going to hold any kind of office, any kind of, who's not going to be king, who's not going to be crowned king or whatever, they cannot handle such a person being more popular than the crown king. So they had to take Diana out. you know they had to do everything. They had to turn her into this person that they hated. And that's exactly what they did to Meghan as well. That's exactly what they did. When they went to Australia, and the kind of love that Meghan got, that's the kind of love that even Kate and William have never gotten all the time that they've been traveling. They went to South Africa, they were loved, they were welcomed with open arms. The royal family just couldn't have that. They had to find a way to turn against her. And then they went to the media. So you see what Prince or King Charles is talking about, how he's extending his love. I'm thankful that he's doing this. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that, he's having these conversations and stretching his arm, kind of setting the record straight as far as the media is concerned. But I honestly don't believe him. I honestly think, because he wants to come across as the people's king, right? If you're a king and you just ascending the throne, how are people going to respect you if there is a rift in your family? So all of this was propaganda. All of this was just to save face. All of this olive branch that he extended was just to save face, was just to show to the world. This was all for show, to show to the world that he is willing, that he wants to, as the leader of the family now, and as the leader of the so-called firm, that he wants to show the world that he wants to bring his family together. He wants to unite his family together. Because what kind of a king will he be if his own children don't even get along? Like, isn't that what they say? You know how they say charity begins at home? Before you start ruling over the country, before you start ruling over the Commonwealth, shouldn't you first of all take care of the issues at home? So that's what people will be asking. That was why he had no choice than to post this. This was all self-serving for King Charles. This whole post about how he's extending and showing love to Meghan and Harry, this was all self-serving, because a king that cannot get his house in order cannot really be king, cannot effectively rule over the people. So he has to show to the people that his house is in order, his children are not fighting, he's able to manage home front. So that's all this is. I don't buy it. Talk is cheap. If he can tell the media to lay off, if he's willing to fall on the sword, in meaning, not literally, meaning if he's willing to take the consequences, if at any point he tells the media, please lay off my son and his wife, my son Harry and his wife Meghan, enough of this bullying, enough of this negative publication, enough of this lies, enough of this attack against them, if he's willing to handle the consequence of that. Because, like I have always said, Harry and Meghan, from now till infinity, will forever be the royal scapegoats. They will forever be the royal smokescreen. They will forever be the royal scapegoat. Meaning, if there is anything that the firm needs to be buried, guess who they're going to throw under the bus by making up some bogus story? Is going to be Harry and Meghan. If there is a scandal that the royals want to put a pin on, guess what they're going to do? They're going to furnish their media giants with false information, lies, made up stories about Harry and Meghan just to cover up the real scandal. So, unless the king is willing to say, fine, if you have anything about me, if you know anything about my family, publish it or whatever, but just leave Harry and Meghan alone. I mean, I'm not saying that you should never publish about them, but make sure that when you're publishing about them, it's not coming from a place of attack. You're publishing fact, truth about them. If the king is willing to sacrifice himself in that regard, because the media is out for blood. The media, you cannot tell the media to lay off Harry and Meghan without giving them something to hold on to instead. So if you're telling them, lay off Harry and Meghan, you best be ready to make yourself available for when they have something to say. So anytime there is a scandal from you about you, you have to be ready to take the heat. Because Harry and Meghan are usually what they use to cover up their tracks, to bury stories, to push in the circulation if there is a scandal in the royal family that they don't want anybody to know about. They will typically use Harry and Meghan. So, unless, of course, you are willing to make yourself that sacrificial lamb now, we're not going to stop. Because believe me, the royal family have a lot of scandal. A lot of scandal. Meghan was the perfect scapegoat for them. She was the perfect scapegoat. And she will forever be the scapegoat for them. And that is truly, truly sad. So I am not buying what the king is selling. I think this is just him trying to show to the world that he's a king. His house is in order. People should trust his judgment. People should trust his leadership. Because if a king cannot extend an olive branch to his own son, how is he going to effectively rule the people? So he has to show strength. He has to show leadership. That's what all that speech was about. He didn't really mean it. He hates Harry at this point. I think he really, really hates Harry. But right now is the time to show to the world that I can be king. I have leadership skills, you know. So I want to bring my family together. Look at me. I'm stretching forth an olive branch to my son and his wife, and I am telling them that I'm telling the world, I'm making the world know now that I love them. This is all self serving to me. It's all self serving to me. These people only care about themselves. They don't care about anybody else. They don't give a shit. They don't care. The next minute, if there's a scandal that they're trying to bury, guess who they're going to throw under the bus? Meghan. They enjoy throwing that lady under the bus. They love it. They love it. She has become the perfect scapegoat for them because they know that their readers and their people are so hateful that they will take anything that they can get as long as it's a negative story about Meghan. They will take it. These people could not even hold themselves. They could not even try. Like their queen, their so-called beloved queen just died. They couldn't even go one full day without making this whole thing about Meghan. And now they are talking about how frosty, Meghan and Harry had the plan to actually come into the to come and mourn with the family, but they uninvited Meghan, and so she had to stay back. Just why is that even necessary? Why do we even need to know that? Why? Why? Because it's for the you just want to shame her. You want to shame her, make her feel bad, because your audience, your readers don't care. They just want to hear awful things about Meghan. That's really all they care about. They just want to hear the worst things about Meghan. Anytime they post something so that not necessarily positive, but something that is not like hateful about Meghan, nobody cares. They don't watch, they don't click, they don't do anything. The comments, you don't even get up to 200 comments. But let one celebrity say something, one anti-Meghan celebrity post something, or trash talk Meghan, or if the post is about Meghan supposedly doing something wrong, go to the comment section. They'll have like thousands and thousands and thousands of comments in the comment section of people just trashing that person, trashing her. Like there's only so much one person can take. And people, you see people giving Harry and Meghan, oh, we give them 5 years, they're gonna divorce. So what? Did Charles not divorce Diana? Did Andrew not divorce his wife? Did Anne not divorce her husband? Is she not a divorcee? So why is it new? Why is Harry and Meghan's divorce going to be the scandal of the century when the royal family is notorious for having all this divorce? So why is Harry and Meghan's case going to be like, oh my gosh, the world is going to come to an end? Give them 5 years, they're going to divorce. Why is that such a big deal? You know, so it's so laughable. They would look for any reason whatsoever to just trash Meghan. They push false information, they push lies, they push these lies. They want to make it seem as though William is so angry at Harry. William is so strong and Harry is so weak, and Harry is regretful of leaving the family. And so William does not want to give Harry the time of day. William is still very angry at Harry, and so he's still giving Harry the cold shoulder, blah blah blah. But then when they post these things, and then they realize that, okay, even though we are trying to make it seem as though Harry is regretting his decision to leave the royal family, people are not finding it funny. People are not taking it lightly. People, that actually makes William look like a terrible brother, an unforgiving brother. Guess what they'll do? The next post that they will make will be about how, oh, Harry is so terrible. Harry wanted an apology, you know. Harry wanted William to apologize and stuff. Like they just play with the brains of their readers. And those ones are so stupid that they don't even know that they're being cajoled. They don't even know that they're being taken advantage of. They're literally playing with their brains. Like it can't be both ways. It's either Harry, he's cold hearted, he doesn't want to reconcile with his brother, or William is cold hearted, he doesn't want to reconcile with his brother. You can't, like, they just play their readers like a game of chess. Like it's sickening, it's crazy. It's unbelievable, these people. Like I'm looking at this and I'm like, how can a people just allow themselves to be pushed around like this by this big media corporation? It's crazy, but it's what's going on, you know. So I know eventually People are going to wake up to this. People are going to realize, even the most hateful ones, they are going to realize how they have been played by these medias for their own interest, for their own gains, you know. But I am still saying it. There's still enough morons in the world who will still buy into the bullshit of the racist media, and there will always be, you know. So it's just really disgusting, the racist attacks against Harry and Meghan. Like, she's not supposed to say anything. And so now they accuse her of running off and telling the media. Why would she tell the media when the royal family and the firm were pushing lies and false information and false narrative, accusing Meghan of bullying of bullying Kate, and nobody came to her defense. Nobody came and said, this is not okay. You know, this is not true. This is not what happened. And so she just kept quiet for so long, and they continued to lie on her. They continued to push false narrative about her. They continued to say things that were not even true about her. So because she decided to do an interview and tell her own side, because William and Kate, they have the big media corporation behind them. They have all these people who are who they use to push whatever narrative that they want to push to the media. They have all these people, you know. These are things that Harry and Meghan didn't have. So they had to come out and tell their own story, because it was obvious that the royal family and the firm were not ready. They were not ready to defend them, or to at least help them, you know, call these media people, these big media people, to order. So they had to defend themselves. And now people are saying, oh, she runs to the media, she runs to the media, she runs to the media. So she was supposed to just sit down and take it and bear everything and just let it slide. These people were never gonna stop. They were accusing her of making Kate cry, and come to find out, according to her, Kate was the one that actually made her cry. But she was supposed to just take it and keep quiet. She was supposed to just take it and keep quiet and just let things go like that. These people were never going to stop. The media were never going to stop bullying her. She had to defend herself. Her reputation was going. How do you go from being one of the most, at least most popular, like one of, she was more, she and Harry, once they got married, they became more popular than William and Kate. How do you go from that to being the most hated, if not because of the media campaign against you? If not because of the media campaign against you? Because William and Kate realized that no, we can't let these people, after all, they are not even going to be king. They're not even going to be queen, you know? Why would they be more popular than us? So it was all that was all it was about. The popularity, because we are the future king and queen, we have to find a way to be more popular. So they went on this hate campaign against Meghan, which basically affected her popularity, because when you leak a false story that Meghan made their so-called English rose, Kate, cry, then people are gonna be like, okay, now she's really pushing it. No, 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 nobody's gonna sit for that. But it wasn't true. It wasn't true. And then they just started making up all kinds of stories, just started making up all kinds of lies, all kinds of things, you know. They just started making up with all kinds of things. They just started making up all kinds of stories, negative, false stories. And before you know it, their popularity in the UK dropped. And they still wouldn't stop. Once they succeeded in turning a lot of the people in Britain against Harry and Meghan, they decided to expand their hate campaign to other continents. It is only in America, regardless of what they want you to believe, regardless of what they want you to think, that, oh, everybody hates Harry and Meghan in America. That's not true. That's a lie. Regardless of what they want you to think, Harry and Meghan are actually quite popular in America. I mean, nobody hates them, not the way they hate them in the UK, not the way they hate them in the UK. So, what they started doing, they started going to different continents, sponsoring different people to go on hate campaigns against. Imagine, how else do you explain a situation whereby Harry's half brother, I believe his name is Michael or something, how else would you explain a situation whereby he was invited to come and participate in Big Brother Australia, Celebrity Big Brother? This guy was never, it was just somebody doing a blue collar job or white collar or whatever color he was doing. He was not a celebrity, but all of a sudden they were inviting him. They invited him to go and participate in Celebrity Big Brother Australia. Guess who sponsored it? The racist British media, because they have succeeded in tarnishing Meghan's name in Britain. And so they wanted to start in Australia, a different continent, right? So because she was still quite popular in Australia, so let's send her brother there and have him go on national television and just and push out information and talk about her sister, talk about his sister, talk about how his sister became estranged, how she's such a terrible person, how she's this and she's that. So this was an orchestrated plan, orchestrated move by them. They will go to various different countries, different continents. They will plant different people to go and say awful things about Meghan. So it's crazy. It's bizarre. It's ridiculous. You know, it's ridiculous. Like people are saying that, oh, she should not have. I don't know what people want her to do. What, like, there's this comment here. Somebody is saying that the way she handled it. I don't think Meghan did anything wrong with the way she handled it. Like, if you think what she did was wrong, the way she handled the situation was wrong, please, can you tell me how she should have handled it? Do me a favor and tell me how you think she should have handled it. How would you have handled the situation if you were in her position? If you were in her situation, how would you have handled it? How? Some of you will say, oh, I'm a black woman, so, but I'm still thinking that what she did was wrong. What exactly did she do that was wrong? Just because you're saying that you're a black woman before you point out, does not mean anything to me. Does not mean the black people have been selling each other out for the longest time. So it's not new to me, you know? Black people have been doing pick me all this time. It's not like that doesn't make you any more valid because you're a black person, you know. White people support Meghan too. So what difference does it make? What difference does it make? She says, Jade, why do you think they are doing this smear campaign though? The reason why I think they are doing the smear campaign, like I said before, Meghan has become a perpetual smokescreen for them. Meghan has become a perpetual scapegoat, and she will forever be. God forbid, even if Meghan and Harry divorce tomorrow, from now till thy kingdom come, Meghan and Harry will forever be. Sorry, Meghan, they will forgive Harry because they already believe that Harry does not have a mind of his own, that Meghan is basically the puppet master and Harry is the puppet. Let me tell you why they are doing this. They are doing this because Whenever there is a scandal, whenever there is a scandal, the royal family, and there is no shortage of scandal in the royal family. Whenever there is a scandal, putting Meghan, because they know that the British people already dislike Meghan, they don't like her, pushing stories, false stories, lies, whatever, outrageous stories about Meghan, kind of distract from the main issue. It distracts from the main propaganda that is going on. That's why, because I've been following this for the longest time. Whenever something is about to get revealed, they will just come out and they will post something about Meghan did today. Or, how Meghan house was smelling, or how Meghan's they'll just post some things that will just distract their readers, that will distract the British people from a major scandal that is about to be exposed in the royal family. So Meghan has become their their scapegoat. Meghan has become their smokescreen for anything. If there is something major that is happening, Meghan is it. They'll call Meghan's name and use it as a distraction. This Meghan is a gift that they didn't have for the longest time. For years now, the royal family has been plagued with all manner of scandals, both big and small, or large and whatever. But now that they have Meghan, now most of those scandals you don't even hear it anymore, because all they have to do, all the firm has to do whenever there is something that is about to leak, and it's going to leak, because not all the media are like their puppets, and not all the media are like doing their dirty biddings. There are some reputable media houses who basically are here to tell the truth or whatever. When those ones are about to leak a scandal that is going to shake the foundation of the royal family, they will call their firm. They'll call their firm. The firm will call their big media organization, and then just tell them, just look for one crazy story about Meghan and post it. Before you know it, nobody will even care anymore. Nobody will even care about the major story. Now the attention of everybody is now directed back at Meghan. You say, so when will it ever? It's never gonna stop. That's why you're not listening to me. I said it just now. I said forever and ever, Meghan will forever be their puppet. It's never going to stop ever again. And I also said just now that God forbid, I'm not praying. I really hope this to make. I've never prayed for anybody to make it as much as I have prayed for Harry and Meghan. I sincerely, God in heaven knows my heart. I really hope that they make it. But if they don't make it, it doesn't even matter. Meghan will still be their smokescreen. Meghan will forever, forever and forever, unless of course King Charles really decided to take a stand and say enough is enough. And if King Charles should take such a stand, right? If King Charles should say, no, Harry's my son. I don't appreciate the smear campaign, this attack. It's not healthy. I'm worried for my son. I'm worried for his mental health. Should King Charles take a stand, that means he must be ready for them to stop covering for him, for them to stop covering for the royal family when there is a scandal, you know. But the thing is that there are so many people like the firm that are even more, that are calling the shots, like all these King Charles, Queen Elizabeth. These are all figureheads. That is just the truth, you know. The firm as an organization that is really calling the shots will not even allow, because there are some scandals that will happen, that will destroy, that will shake the foundation of the firm. And even the firm will not even want that. So whether King Charles wants it or not, or whether King Charles wants to protect his son Harry or not, or forever, Meghan will forever be. Unless of course somebody else comes along that is even more effective when it comes to distracting the general public from their scandal. It's Meghan. Unless somebody else comes along that is even more effective, when it comes to doing that. They will never leave Meghan alone. They will never leave her alone. And that's actually very sad. You know, it's actually very sad because nobody can live like that. Nobody can live like that. But they'll never leave her alone. Like I said, unless, of course, somebody comes in that is way more important. Somebody that really, if they decide to pounce on that person like they have pounced on Meghan, it's not going to affect the important people, because right now, Megan is just like a free for all, right? Megan is like free agent. Anybody can take their shot. Nothing will happen, but if they find somebody that is just as important and also less detrimental to their own reputation, that taking a shot at that person will not affect them, then they will dump Megan. But I don't see that happening anytime soon because Megan brings a lot of traffic, you know. Megan brings a lot of traffic and Megan brings a lot of distraction from the main issue. Cheesy says, and William is in, of course, William, definitely. He's in cahoots, he's in cahoots. To him, it's a business. He has made a decision to choose the business, the family business over Harry. Like, he has never been. I was watching one documentary that they did about Princess Diana and her boys. They always said that right from when William was young, he was raised. Even in the adage, they say they want a king, they want an heir and a spare. So they'll have two boys. One is an heir and one is a spare. So Harry, right from birth, was always a spare, and he was treated like a spare right from birth. William was a king right from birth. He was raised as a king. He was born to be a king one day, and he was raised as a king. So to William, Harry is nothing. You understand? Harry is nothing. Harry, he has, in my opinion, he doesn't have any affection for Harry. Harry is a necessary solution to whatever, you know. Harry is just a spare. So definitely he's in cahoots, you know. He's part of it. Even his wife, all the false stories that they've been pushing about Meghan, his wife is among the people that are leaking the secrets now. She will just talk to one of her aides, and those ones will just call. She'll clean her mouth. She'll clean her mouth and wash her hands, and nobody will suspect her. She's every bit a part of it. William is every bit a part of it. They never really saw Harry as Harry was always somebody. He was raised to be somebody that they used to to solve problems, you know. So that's what he has always been. And he knew this. Harry knew this about himself right from time. He knew he was not relevant in the royal family. That was why he charted his own course. He knew he was never relevant. He knew that they never really saw him as equal. He was a spare. That was why, he just wanted to live his own life. And the media now, they conveniently forget that Harry, right from the very beginning, was never a fan of the media. He was never a fan of the family. He never had any interest in the family business. So, and he knew that if he had married any one of the girls from Europe or from the UK, he knew that he would have been stuck in that country doing what he didn't want to do. But the minute he met Meghan, he found strength in Meghan. He drew strength in Meghan. And so he told Meghan what he really wanted, and Meghan supported. No other girl from Europe or from Britain would have supported Harry's decision to move away from the family business now. Nobody. But Meghan did, because Meghan on her own is a very strong person. She's a feminist, and she's very strong and very independent. And that was exactly the kind of person that Harry needed to be able to break away from that family that he did not want to be a part of. Like, not that he didn't want to be a part of the family, but he didn't want to be a part of the business. So that's part of the reason why they hate, because they are mad at Meghan. They are mad at Meghan because Meghan basically took him away from them. Now they no longer have like a punching bag. They no longer have somebody that they can just use to do their dirty linen or whatever, because Meghan took him away. Whereas it wasn't Meghan who took him. Meghan just gave him strength to do what he has always wanted to do, to chart the course of his own life. Did you hear King Charles did not give them title during his speech today? Do you think he? I think you know, for me, this is not a problem for me, because this whole thing has been set up. When somebody dies, when a queen dies, the position is moved. So Harry and Meghan were never going to be anything other than Duke and Duchess, because Harry, God forbid, if King Charles Clement today, right? It doesn't get to Harry's turn. Oh, Harry is like the fifth in line, so it's still a long way before he can even be king. And obviously, I don't even think that's going to happen in this lifetime, because he's fifth in line. So I don't think there is anything, even though haters are trying to make a big deal out of it. But if you look at the history, this is how it is. This is how it is. If Harry was close to the throne, then if Harry was close to the throne, if he wasn't fifth in line and they refused to give them a title, they refused to give them a new title, then it would have been an issue. But they are nowhere near, they're like fifth in line. So it's gonna be a long road. You understand? And it's only going to stretch even longer when Prince George starts, when he gets older and he gets married. His children will be in line before even Harry self. So to me, because I have read a bit of the history of their country, like I kind of understand, it was not a big deal for me. But now, anything that happened, some of the haters saw this as spite, and so they ran with it. They made it seem as though, now when you hate somebody so much, any little thing that can make it seem as though the person has lost, you will consider it a win. I'm not saying you, I'm just saying people who hate people, if they see anything that brings somebody that they don't like, that anything that they don't think favors the person that they don't like, they always see it as a win. But this is how it's supposed to go. And now, guess what? You remember when Meghan and Harry first had a baby, and the children were not, they were not giving prince and princesses. Now, because Queen Elizabeth is no longer in the way, the position has now moved. So now Harry's children are now known as prince and princesses. You understand? So everything is going according to the way it's supposed to go. It's just people who don't understand, or even the ones that understand, but they want to push a certain narrative. They'll just keep pushing it or whatever. To me, things are going the way it's supposed to go with regards to the title and stuff, you know. So it's just my own issue with them is just the hate that they have towards this woman who has not done them anything, whose only wrong is supporting her husband who wanted to leave that toxic family. That's it, yeah. But everything else has been pretty much the way it's supposed to be. Yes, Megan complained. I know. I think even Megan did not understand. When they explained it, I understood it. I think maybe Megan did not understand. I remember her complaining about it, but the way they explained it, it made sense to me. You know, it made sense to me because there are so many people. Why? Because even at that point, it was unrealistic that Harry and Meghan's children would ever be king, because the line of succession was very, very far away from them. So now that the queen is no longer here, so the line of succession has gone in closer, and now they are now included in the line of succession. You understand? So now, because the queen is no longer here, the line has gotten closer, and now there is a realistic line of succession that includes them, and now they can now be addressed as the king. Sorry, as the prince and princess. As prince and princesses. So I don't think she understood it. I don't think she understood it very well. But when they explained it, I understood. Let me tell you why I think that even now, if it really was against, if it was something that they really didn't want to do, if it was really something that they didn't want to do, for example, if they didn't really want to give Harry and Meghan's children prince and princesses, they still would not have done it, even now that the queen is no longer here. They still wouldn't have done it. But I think because the line of succession, like I said, was so far away, so they didn't do it. But if you look at the new line now, it even includes Harry's children. It includes Harry. Harry is the 15th line. Um, Archie is the 16th line, and Lilibeth is the 7th in line. You know, yeah, that's why they accused her, because it was easy for them to say that she was lying, instead of them to instead of them to accept that she didn't really understand it. It was easier for them to attack her and accuse her of lying, instead of just understanding that, or agreeing, accepting that she did not understand how the line of succession went. So, because saying that she's a liar feeds into their narrative, feeds into their conscious bias that they already have towards her. This was just a question of explaining to her, because these are conversations that they didn't even have, like really have a serious conversation, because I feel like everybody in the royal family, aside from Meghan and Harry, they were also biased that they couldn't even bring themselves to ask. And maybe because Harry or Meghan didn't want to be or seem too eager, she herself didn't really ask them, because small thing now they will say, is that the reason why you married Harry? Because you want your children to be prince and princesses? So I strongly believe that it wasn't properly explained to her. She didn't understand. And so the people that were calling her a liar after it was outlined the way it's supposed to be, the people that were calling her a liar were doing so because it was better, it was easier for them. It feeds more into their narrative to call her a liar, to act like, oh, we've caught her in a lie now. You see, we've caught her in another lie, than to just understand that she didn't really understand how it worked, and nobody really explained it to her how it worked. And Harry now, because for a very long time, Harry had never been interested in anything royal. He never even imagined that he would even one day be king. He never imagined it, right? So he didn't really care so much about how that line of succession works. But I remember that time when it was going on, the way when they came out and they released the statement, the royal family, and they explained it, it made sense to me when they did around that time. But the people who went on and on and on and on about how Meghan is a liar, they just wanted to believe the worst about her. They didn't want to accept that she didn't understand. This was a question of putting something, making somebody understand something, because now, if the intention was never to make her children prince and princess, then they would not have done it even now. They would have just continued with that, because that one has been deaded. That part has, it has blown over. It's not even in the news anymore, so they would have just moved on. But because the queen is no longer here and the line has moved up a bit, and so now the children of Harry and Meghan can now be addressed, because now they are realistically in line for the throne. That's what I think happened. It was just a situation where they never explained to her, and she never really did ask, because she didn't want to come off as being, suspicious. Like, if you're asking that kind of question, will my children be prince and princesses? It gets as it be now. Harry is a prince. He should know enough to explain things to his wife. And if he didn't know, even as a prince for many years, then they should have taken time to ask questions before doing a public and doing it. I think it was an oversight. For me, I wouldn't even blame them for that. I think there are some awkward questions that you can't even, like, why? You like, you know, like, you didn't know what's going on. You're learning as you go. You're new to this family and you're learning. There are some questions that you don't want to ask because you don't want to come off as too eager, you know. And so you are thinking that, of course, because you just expect that, being that the grandmother is a queen, so you just, in your mind, you just expect that, okay, automatically your children are going to be prince and princesses. Of course they are prince and princesses, but they don't own that title. So when it happened, when she had a baby, and they didn't automatically start calling the baby prince, they called the baby Master Archie. They didn't start calling the baby Prince Archie. So she was confused. But because still, she probably still didn't want to push the question with anybody, because to me, I think that would be a very weird question to ask. So why is my son not, like, I wouldn't ask that. That would just make you seem too eager. Like, what, like, what does it even matter? you know and I'm sure, I honestly believe that Harry didn't know, because Harry was never interested. you know Harry was never, 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 never interested. She was never, 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 never interested. So I think it was an oversight. I think just because they are royals doesn't mean they, like I was saying, they trained William to be king. So they showed him everything, they taught him everything. And I'm sure that there are things that he's still learning even now as he's growing. And some questions, like, he can actually ask questions because he's directly in line, whereas in Harry is not the same. um Before doing a public interview of that nature, this is one of the mistake of that interview. I agree. I agree. I agree. I do believe that, because they are still very close friends with Eugenie. You know, they're very close to Eugenie. So I do believe that later, I think it was something that was an honest mistake, and for something that was forgiven. That's why they are still close. The other day, was it not last month or 2 months ago? No, when was it? Oh, there was one some time ago, Sha. There was one, I believe it was there was a sport event, Sha, or Super Bowl. I can't remember again now. When Harry Eugenie went to visit them in California, and Eugenie and Harry went to the sports event together. They are very close. I think it was an honest mistake. I think because when people hate you, they will never give you grace. When people hate you, they will never give you grace. Even an honest mistake, they will want to hold it over your head. That's what I think went on here. You know, but when somebody knows that you made an honest mistake, it's easier for them to forgive you because they know it was an honest mistake. It was not intentional. You never meant to do that. It's just you didn't understand and it was an oversight. And because, lots of tension was high during that interview. So I, like, honestly, I don't even think people just blew it out of proportion because they just don't like her. And so they were always constantly looking for something that they can use as a gotcha. As a gotcha. Look at you now, caught you in a lie, caught you in a lie, we caught you in a lie. I think that was what they were doing. They were always looking for something to hold over her head, or something to use as an example that she's a liar. You know, I think so. So yes, so me, I will continue to follow this story because I'm very intrigued by it, and I'm gonna dedicate this channel to just exposing their racism. That's what I've chosen to do with this channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you're catching this later off in playback, don't forget to hit the like button. It does wonders for this channel. So yeah. Right, right. I strongly think that she thought she was fine. Now sometimes when you do something, you'll be thinking that, okay, I'm ready for this, I'm ready for this, only for you to be in that situation and realize that nope, 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 I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. You know, yeah. She was pushed. Definitely, definitely pushed. They did that girl. They showed that girl Pepe. They show and they still showing her Pepe. They have not stopped to imagine the queen that they love so much died. They couldn't dedicate 1 week just talking about the queen's legacy without bringing her into it. They are still looking for ways to continue to trash her because, like, it's like, are you kidding me? They can't even let go. They can't let off for 1 day to honor their queen that they supposedly love so much. No, they are obsessed with her. She's living in their head rent free, honestly. So you guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Cheesy. Thanks for your interaction. I appreciate it so much. Thank you all so much for being here. I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.